All right, Buck, let's jump in here. Edge rusher draft. You went first the other day, D tackle, so I am up first here, and there are a ton of talented edge rushers to choose from. I'm going to go ahead and go with the 49er, Nick Bosa, with my first pick. I believe he's the best edge rusher in the NFL. I think he's the best leverage rusher that I've ever seen in terms of being able to get inside, get underneath guys. You see how powerfully built he is with his legs. He's able to just get under people and drive them. He's got every hand technique in the book. You'll see wrist control. You'll see his brother's famous double swipe. He can get home in so many different ways, but really to me, it's the combination of that burst off the ball and the pure power that he possesses. To me, Nick Bosa, when healthy and on the field, I think he's the most dominant player.
A dominant player, and you alluded to his brother. The pass rushing is the family business. Those guys are so technically sound, and you think about both of those guys coming out of Ohio State and how they just got it in terms of their ability to play with their hands, the way they were able to set people up. It has only gotten better for Nick Bosa since he's been a pro. I can't knock you. The dude is fantastic. He's a dominant player. And to think that he came off an ACL and was able to be right back to being a dominant player, it just speaks volumes about not only the player, but the technician that he is. So I'm going to go, my first pick is funny because you always want like the super talented athlete off the edge and hope that he has enough skill to do it. Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns is everything. Number 1 overall pick. And I'll be honest, when he came out of Texas A&M, he was more athlete than I would say polished player. He has now combined the two. He has added some technique to his game to make him a very disruptive and effective playmaker. If I'm building a defense and we're looking for an edge player to kind of put down to attack off the blind side of the quarterback, Myles Garrett is the guy that I would want.
Yeah, and also heads up to the National Football League, Myles Garrett being in that scheme with Jim Schwartz with the wide 9 in an attack front. Don't be shocked if he's your defensive player of the year. I mean, that is a perfect marriage between player and scheme.
How about this? And I know we're talking about the Patriots. Jim Schwartz is on record saying, yeah, we're going to be a man-to-man and we're going to blitz 5 every play. And I was like, wow, we're just going to broadcast that? Yeah, we're going to be a man most of the time, and we're going to blitz 5 every play. And the reason why you want to blitz 5 is you want to create one-on-one matchups. So it's not just to get somebody free, but it's, hey, we're going to make sure that you have to go one-on-one with our guy, and our guy's better than your guy, so he's going to get 1,000,000 sacks.
No, I love that. I love your pick there of Myles Garrett. All right, second round here. My second pick, we've got Nick Bosa off the board. We've got Myles Garrett off the board. You talked about Nick Bosa being part of the family business with pass rush. I'm going to stay with that theme. I'm going to go with TJ Watt, someone else who learned from Big Brother and who is a dominant player when out there. TJ, again, can win with speed. He's loose. He can bend at the top of his rush. He's got a great feel and sense. To me, pass rush is, we talk about being an art form as a technician. It's also just a feel thing. You overset, he's going to sense it. He's going to feel it. He's going to cross your face, and he's going to win underneath. He is an all-around player. I know we're talking a lot about these guys as pass rushers. TJ Watt can set the edge. All 3 of these guys we've talked about so far, excellent against the run as well in terms of their ability to set a firm edge and hold up there on the outside. So I'm going to go TJ Watt with my pick.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. That was the guy that I was contemplating taking first. It's just the Myles Garrett athleticism made it where, man, I kind of have to take him. But TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, both guys are really continuing to keep the family business thriving because they are dominant players. And, who's to say? They may end up being better than their predecessors, which speaks volumes about both of Joey and J.J. Watt coming into the league. So my turn. This is crazy because I never thought this guy was going to be the pass rusher that he's turned out to be. But how about Matt Judon from New England Patriots? You think about what he was with the Baltimore Ravens. DJ, he never had double-digit sacks when he was with the Ravens. He goes to the New England Patriots. Back-to-back years, he's not only been over double digits, but he's amassed 28 sacks in that period. And for a team that doesn't really blitz a lot, they've allowed Matt Judon to kind of figure out a way to get busy on 4-man rushes. His length, his athleticism, and I will say this, his craftiness as a pass rusher has really stood out for me since I've seen him join the Patriots. Because of that, I'm going to take him with my second pick.
All right, Matt Judon is a big time pick there. You talked about the production there with the Patriots, somebody you have to game plan for when you're playing against that team. I need to go to the judge. Is Nabil the judge? Are we going to use Nabil as the judge here real quick? Can we bring Nabil in? Give me any of the third man.
Oh, see, I was going to go to the judge because I know where you're going. I know where you're going. I know where you're going. He's a linebacker.
Micah Parsons. Are we listing him as an edge rusher, or are we going to put him in our off-the-ball linebacker group?
Let's put him as an edge rusher.
Oh, what? He's a linebacker.
Yes.
Because how many sacks he's getting?
Hey, the judge has spoken. The judge has spoken.
Gosh.
Thank you, Nabil. Close the box. Okay, Nabil's gone. I'm going to go ahead and take Micah Parsons here with my next pick. What a steal. What an absolute steal.
Oh, my God. I cannot believe he's there at 5. So now when we talk about it.
Passed on him.
And when they pass, well, I mean, I was trying to keep it pure because I'm looking at him. I'm like, well, Micah Parsons, but he's an inside linebacker. We're not going to put him there, but okay.
He's coming off the edge. We see him come off the edge a good bit. He can win as a rusher on games from the inside if you want, but just coming off the edge. We've said it before. Like, if you just let him rush out there full time, he might get 20 sacks. Like, he's that gifted. There's nothing on the football field he cannot do. And thanks to Judge Nabil, I have just landed Micah Parsons to team up with Nick Bosa and TJ Watt. My team's stacked. Absolutely stacked.
I mean, your team is ridiculous because you're over here.
You should have gone to the judge.
You're playing positionless ball. Well, one, I thought Nabil had a little more courage to be able to put you in your place and be like, no, you can't do that, DJ. You can't just make up the rules as you go when it comes to this kind of stuff.
It doesn't hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. And look at that Christmas gift that he just gave me right there. Thank you, Nabil.
Oh, my gosh. So ridiculous.
Right, go ahead.
Okay.
You're up.
Okay. Yeah. Now that we got guys playing anything,
you can take Jalen Ramsey.
No, I might as well just like Jamal Adams is a pass rusher for all I know. He just comes off the edge. Look, I'm gonna take Hassan Reddick with my pick. Okay. And the thing about Hassan Reddick, like if you go back and look at the last 3 years, I don't know if there's been a more productive pass rusher in the league. I mean, you think double-digit sacks in each of the last 3 years. He's accounted for 39.5 sacks during that span. And last year he had 16. And the thing about it, DJ, he's done it in 3 different schemes. What he played in Arizona was different than what he played in Carolina, which was different than what they did in Philadelphia. So now you have to give him his just due. And for him to be a guy who at Temple was a safety that made his way down to the edge, it speaks volumes about his ability to master the craft as a pass rusher and continue to build upon his game once he got into the pros. And even then, it took the coaches a while to figure out how to best utilize him. Now he's one of the best in the business when it comes to knocking the quarterback down.
He's really opened the door, too, because you think about Drew Brees, what he did for some of the undersized quarterbacks, and that kind of ushered in this whole new era of guys. Hassan Reddick playing under 240 pounds and doing what he's doing consistently is really opened some doors. Opened some doors for his new teammate, Nolan Smith, who they just took in the first round. He's a phenomenal football player. All right, so you've got Garrett, Judon. You just came back with Reddick. I've got some interesting options here, but I tell you what, I see this guy twice a year. I
already know where you're going.
I gotta go. I'm going Mad Max Crosby here for what he brings. Our buddy Brian Baldinger calls him the Condor. He's got crazy length. He, in terms of relentless, he is relentless. And if you're looking for the comp for what he is in this generation, all you got to do is go back one and look at what Jared Allen did in this league. I think he's this new version of Jared Allen who never stops, uses his length. He's got speed, he's got power, but to me, it's the relentlessness that sets him apart. So I'm going to go big Mad Max Crosby here.
Okay, Mad Max. I understand it. I can see why he would be in the list. I love his motor, just the energy that he brings off the edge and how he's been able to do it. Last year, he had to do it solo. They bring over Chandler Jones. You think that Chandler Jones is going to give him that compliment where he'll get some one-on-ones. Didn't happen. Mad Max still was able to give you 12.5 sacks for a team that really didn't play with a lead. So imagine what could happen if they played from ahead. So, DJ,
by the way, hold on. Breaking news. Why don't you go ahead and read that little nugget that Nabil just popped in the chat there, Buck? Why don't you go ahead and read that one for everybody?
Micah Parsons, per Next Gen Stats, aligned as an edge, or did he align as an edge, or he was just on the edges at linebacker? 78% of the time. So we're saying that Micah Parsons is an edge, even though when I watch the game, and they do the starting lineups, and they run out the tunnel, and they're like, Micah Parsons. It's always from Penn State, linebacker, Micah Parsons. not edge.
Yeah, but he's an
not
edge.
outside
But,
linebacker.
TJ Watt's the
There you go.
same. Hassan Reddick is a stand up out there on the outside. Do that as an edge. They're edge rushers. Look, hey, facts over feelings, Buck. Facts over feelings. I mean, he just put the number in there, 78%.
I can't
steal.
wait.
What a steal of a pick.
I know. I can't wait to extend this out and be able to announce Derwin James as my next edge rusher. Like, I mean, that's where we're getting to in this league, positionless ball. So I just want one of our listeners, one of our devoted listeners, to make sure that they tweet this out after we say it, because we've caught a lot of flack from this player's family members about not giving him enough love.
There you go. Yeah.
And so I'm going to go with Brian Burns from the Carolina Panthers with my next pick. Brian Burns, who is, look, we have been, I guess they say we don't give him enough love and attention. We just said that he was a speed rusher and more of a one-trick pony. I will say that if that trick is nice, there's nothing wrong with just having one in your bag. Brian Burns had 12 and a half sacks for the Carolina Panthers last year. First time he reached double digits. He had 9 sacks the year before. And what you like about him is every year his game has gone up a notch. And for a team that people are talking about emerging as a sneaky playoff team, a sneaky contender, Brian Burns should have a big year. Because if this offense can put up some points, defensively, they got enough talent to be a playoff team. A lot of it will rest on his shoulders. But as a top 5 edge rusher, Brian Burns deserves some consideration.
Yep, he's been consistently disruptive and productive with that speed that he possesses. Also has some length. He'll flash the power. Doesn't do it a lot. He flashes it, but it's all about speed with him. All right, my last pick here. I'm going to bookend my draft. I got a Bosa with my first pick, and I'm going to come back with a Bosa here with my 5th pick. I'm going to go with Joey Bosa. I know he's not coming off the year he wanted. I know you have injuries that have kind of littered his career. I think that, again, we're drafting for next year. I think Bosa, this is going to be a big year for him. Stay healthy, stay out there on the field, get back to being what he's been when he's rolling, which is, I think he's always joked that his boat would be named the double swipe because it's the move he's been the master of, and it's been a dominant player with that move. And I just want to see him stay out there. I hear stories. I would love to see it, by the way. I hear stories about them in Florida in the offseason. They literally go to a local park and just work on pass rush every day, him and his brother. So you go out there and you see both Bosa brothers out there. Can you imagine that? You're out there like, just going to take go for a little jog around the neighborhood. You see a little neighborhood park, and there's Timmy and Jimmy swinging on the swing set. And then, there's 2 of the premier players in the NFL out there on that patch of grass, just repping pass rush. I mean, that's the family business.
The family business is definitely productive. It's one of those things where, I mean, look, everybody in the family, dad, some uncles, some other people, like, they play in the league and they play well. And so he might be outshined right now by his younger brother, but he certainly is deserving of a lot of praise. Final guy, I'm going to go off the grid a little bit, only because I think people forgot about this guy a couple years ago. Quietly last year, he had 10 and a half sacks. Danielle Hunter from the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. DJ, when you think about Danielle Hunter, it is all about the production that he has had. And it's taken him a while because he sat out all of 2020. He comes back 2021. He has 6 sacks in 7 games. And then last year, 10 and a half sacks. I believe he is going to take his game up because Brian Flores comes over. And if you know anything about Brian Flores' defense, they can put pressure on you. They can find a way to create these one-on-one matchups. And so Danielle Hunter is a certified baller. He reminds people why he was a legitimate Pro Bowl player for multiple seasons in the past.
There you go. I like it. Well, that finishes it up here. Let's go over the results here. I've got Nick Bosa, TJ Watt, a judge's decision to give me Micah Parsons in the 3rd round, Max Crosby, and Joey Bosa. Bucky comes away with Myles Garrett, Matt Judon, Hassan Reddick, who's been as productive as anybody, Brian Burns, and Danielle Hunter. So there is our edge rusher draft. I believe we said we have linebackers coming up next. Micah Parsons will not be eligible for that, Buck.
I guess not. I mean, Micah Parsons is not eligible to play, even though that's where I see him line up first play of every game. He's lined up right in between the pipes. But okay, all right.
Hey, next gen stats, final answer. That's it. That's all you get.
It's almost like saying in hockey we're releasing the goalie. But hey, I'm gonna put the goalie as a defenseman now when I'm making all-star votes because he's out because we pulled him the last quarter in a desperation situation.
Hey, take it up with the judge, man. Nabil made his ruling. His ruling is final.